We got to see the Northern Lights, which is absolutely a perfect ending to our Alaska trip here. Our names are Mike and Heather. We're traveling the US in our van Appa on a mission to visit all 50 states. Subscribe and join us as we try to figure out this whole van life thing. As always, thanks for watching.
Hello and welcome to our last full day in Alaska. We're about halfway through it and closing in on the end of our time here. We're heading down the Alaska Highway, starting here at the end in Delta Junction. Our first stop for today, and I guess to end the day, is in Tok, where we are going to stay overnight and hopefully catch a last glimpse of the Aurora Borealis before we head south to the lower 48.
Once we get towards Tok, we will have officially driven the entire length of the Alaska Highway, because on our way up we stopped at Tok and veered off to go to the Kenai Peninsula, so we didn't drive the stretch of the Alaska Highway. So all this is new Alaska Highway that we haven't driven before today, so that's pretty exciting. And then again, once we get to Tok, we've officially driven the whole thing.
This life is a journey, and we were born for chasing stars. I don't believe it's all for nothing.
So we made it to Tok, and we're actually a little bit past Tok at a boondocking site, which is just a pull off on the side of the road, but it's a little bit in, and there's even a bathroom. Best part, it faces north. There is already another van here that has their tripod outside and 2 chairs. They are inside their van, but I am taking that as a good sign because they also think they're going to see the Northern Lights today.
I think things are lining up pretty well for us to see the lights tonight, and that would just be amazing.
Last night was absolutely amazing. We got to see the Northern Lights, which is absolutely a perfect ending to our Alaska trip here.
Yeah, a great showing of the Northern Lights. We could see the greens in the sky and the different patterns as it went up and moved and kind of danced in the sky the way that you would always hope to see. Definitely a check on that bucket list item.
This morning we have a beautiful full day with nice blue skies. We got to see an eagle, so I think Alaska is really treating us well here as we make our way out, because today we are officially heading to Canada and officially going back down to the lower 48. But there is one thing that we have to do before we make our way out of Alaska, which is add our sticker to the back of the van. We have a wipe to try to wipe off Alaska as best as possible because our van is quite dirty. It's in desperate need of a bath.
There, not too bad. So as we've learned, this is not really a very accurate depiction of how big Alaska is. Alaska is actually 1/5 the entire size of this lower 48. So it doesn't look the biggest here, but really it's bigger than Texas, California, and Montana, the next 3 largest states combined.
So with that, we have officially added Alaska to our sticker map, and we have completed our journey here for now.
It's crazy, we have 15 states left because Alaska was 35. I just ate a bug hard. Like right down the throat. Oh my god. I haven't even eaten breakfast. That's the only food I've eaten today.
We were just commenting how we got insanely lucky with bugs and mosquitoes because we heard horror stories about being in Alaska with the mosquitoes and the flies and all of that. This entire time we haven't had any issues, but this morning there's a couple bugs out and Mike apparently just ate one. The only other time that we really experienced bugs was at the border. So maybe this is just like an Alaskan goodbye, being swarmed by bugs, but it's all part of the experience. What we were after this whole time here in Alaska was true Alaskan experiences. So now we've had one, which was being swarmed by bugs, and we are ready to hit the road. So let's go. You know you're back on the Alaska Highway when you see some road work. So I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. In researching coming to Alaska, the number one thing was, oh, the roads, the roads, the roads. And for the majority of it, the roads have been really, really nice. So I do thank all the people out here working on the road. That being said, this stretch to the Alaskan border on the American side was probably some of the worst roads that we experienced as far as being bumpy and hitting some pretty big potholes. So we're preparing ourselves now for it to get a little bit bumpy. Have about 30 minutes left until we get to the Canadian border crossing, but we just passed the US border crossing heading towards Canada, and yeah, we see the welcome to Alaska sign and the welcome to Yukon sign just ahead. Oh, I remember being so excited seeing this sign, and now it's like, no, we're leaving. Bye, Alaska.
We are back into Canada and we have officially left Alaska. We had a really amazing time there. We've said it before, it was one of our favorite states that we've been to, and we did get to spend a lot of time there compared to some of the other places we visited, but I really cannot wait to go back. There's a lot of things that we still want to do up there, so goodbye for now, but hello Canada. We are back in the Yukon.
The goal is to get to Whitehorse tonight for our first day of driving and then continuing on along the Alaska Highway tomorrow. So hopefully the border crossing is a breeze. I'm always a little bit anxious. Not that I should be because I'm not doing anything illegal that I know of, but it's still a very nerve-wracking experience. So fingers crossed everything goes smoothly and we can continue on to Whitehorse with no issues. The good news is that we remember this whole stretch gone forward as being in a lot better condition than when you first cross over the US border to Tok. So I think we have hopefully got the worst of like the really bumpiness behind us, and it'll be smooth sailing for the rest. As smooth as you can drive on the Alaska Highway. We have officially made it into Canada. The border crossing agent was very nice and it was fairly painless, so yeah. Easing my anxiety. Maybe one of these times I'll be able to cross into a different country without my anxiety being all the way up here. But yeah, we're officially in Canada, and the first stop for us is a gas station, because our rule when driving through Alaska and on the Alaska Highway is to not let our tank get below a half a tank, and we are right about there, so gotta find gas.
Said it couldn't be done, but we did. Said it was a good run, but it ain't finished. It'll take a little more than nothing.
As we're making our way down the Alaska Highway, we're seeing more and more mountains that have termination dust on them. So we learned while we're in Alaska that they call snow termination dust because it kind of terminates the end of their summer season. So it starts on the mountain, and then as it works its way down, once the mountain is covered, that's when you know the snow's coming your way. So now I never want to call snow anything other than termination dust because that's just a really fun name. But yeah, all of these mountains that were green and beautiful on the way up are now yellow from the leaves and covered in snow at the top, but still equally as beautiful.
I know just what it takes to walk in and stay in this place. See the look on their face. I already won this game, so it's all what I do. Keep on and keep it up with the truth.
Thank you. You too.
Good morning from Whitehorse. We started our day off as you should in Canada by getting some Tim Hortons. And now we are ready to hit the Alaska Highway once more. But first things first. Now that we are fueled up on gas, we are getting back onto the Alaska Highway to make our way towards Watson Lake today, which is also the place of the signpost forest.
the signpost forest. We're at the backside where there's a parking lot as well next to the Watson Lake Visitor Information Center. You can park here and walk in just the same as you could park on the front and go through the sign. So we're going to try and find our sign from the back because we know it's easy to find from the front. So we're going to go and explore and see what we can see coming in from a different angle.
As we're walking to get to the front of the forest where we know our sign is, it's really fun to still look through all of the signs.
Sign from the city of Rochester, which isn't too far from Buffalo, and I actually worked there before we started doing van life.
Tiny moments filled with golden, perfect weekends I could dream all night.
Found it.
So it's still right here. If you're interested in coming here, or if you're ever here and are trying to find this sign, make sure to check out our other video when we were here the first time putting the sign up, as well as getting a bit more information about the signpost forest in general. Definitely recommend that video. But yes, it is still here. I would hope that it stays here forever and continues to be counted among all of the signs here, because this is really an amazing place, and we're so glad that we were able to leave a part of us here for people to see for years to come.
We didn't have time to get a big fancy sign done, so we have a little dog tag that we were able to pick up at PotSmart. But it still counts. It feels good to have seen our sign and to know that it is still there and that a little piece of us will always be along the Alaska Highway. Here in Watson Lake there is a visitor center, so we are parked in their parking lot, which is right behind the signpost forest, to mooch off of their Wi-Fi and make some dinner for the night. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to use their showers, but until then, food, because we're starving. Now that we're back in Canada, we can eat these pizza pod things. So basically, they're just Hot Pockets in a little calzone shape, and they're very good as far as processed pizza items go.
I got 2 feet on the ground, head flying in the clouds. It's just the little things, all of the little things. Hands up in the sky, it's all gonna be alright. It's just the little things, all of the little things in life that make me feel alive.
Ready to go?
Ready to go. Welcome to another amazing day on the Alaska Highway. We have left Watson Lake and the Yukon behind us because we have just entered British Columbia.
While we were leaving the visitor center, they gave us kind of the highlights of our journey that we could stop in at on our way down the Alaska Highway. They asked which direction we were going and had one prepared for either way. So I would definitely suggest stopping in at the visitor center. The milepost book is great, but it literally gives you everything milepost by milepost. And this is kind of just the highlights of that. So I'm very thankful for this. It looks like we have a couple hikes and a delicious treat in our future along this way home. So I'm very excited to see what the next couple of days along the Alaska Highway have to offer.
Colors are brighter, my steps they are lighter. The skies never look so blue. A new day is dawning. I feel that it's starting like a flower that's ready to bloom. I feel the love all around me. I'm sending it right back to you. Such a sweet melody, the song in my heart plays.
Not only did we see a mama bear with 2 cubs, we also saw a lynx run across the road, and then when it got to the other side, there was another lynx. We didn't get any of that on camera, but we saw a lynx. How cool is that?
They were kind of already into the bushes by the time we were close enough to pull the camera out, but what an amazing thing to see. Today has been really fantastic, and the other night we were seeing tons of elk as we were driving into Whitehorse. We saw a fox when we were driving into town. So the Alaska Highway, even though we didn't see the most animals on our way up, we've seen a lot coming back down.
We have about a half hour till we get to our first kind of destination on the list that the visitor center staff gave us, and it'll be good to get out and stretch our legs. So I'm very excited to be able to do that today. I can't even make this up. There's buffalo on the road, and also tourists who are getting out of their car with the buffalo.
Don't be like those people.
Yes, but there's buffalo. We We are at Whirlpool Canyon, which is supposed to be a really cool scenic overlook of the rapids in this area. So we're gonna get out and check those out. We've been in the car for about 2 hours now, so nothing killer, but we still got a lot of miles ahead of us, and it's always good to get out of the van when you can.
Yeah, and it's cool because we have much less of a strict timeline heading down the Alaska Highway than we did heading up. So we're able to get off the road and check out some of these cool viewpoints, maybe some of the hikes that are just on the Alaska Highway without having to go very far, but we have time to check it out, and you can kind of see the water through here, so I'm really excited to see if we can find a whirlpool. So not only is there a cool overlook, but you actually come off of the road a little bit, not just on the side of it, and there are a few pull-in spots that have campfire rings and stuff like that, so it looks like you can actually boondock down here, which would be really nice. It's pretty, you can hear the water from down in the river, so definitely it would be a good spot to stay overnight.
There's a lot of down trees, but the landscape is still very, very beautiful. You can see some of the rapids over in that area, and then you can hear and see them really well over there.
This is the Liard River, or Laird River. It's spelled L-I-A-R-D, and we're not really quite sure how to pronounce it, but this is that river which goes all the way up through, and actually on our way up we stopped at the Liard River Hot Springs. So we've been around here before, but we never got down to see it like this.
That stop is definitely more of just the scenic overlook area, but the next spot we're going to is actually a place that we can get out and hike.
We didn't get to do any hiking on the Alaska Highway on our way up, so we definitely have been on the lookout for good opportunities heading south, and one of the spots that were highlighted at the visitor center was this next location, so it should be a really great hike up to a very pretty waterfall.
There's more buffalo!
So
Are these bison or buffalo?
I think the words can be used interchangeably.
There's even more!
Yeah.
Just past the bison, we are making a left off the Alaska Highway for a hike to Smith River Falls.
We drove in a little bit further than we were expecting, but it wasn't too far on this single lane dirt road, but it was pretty well maintained. We didn't have any trouble, and I doubt you would have any trouble in any kind of vehicle, but we've made it to the Smith River Falls trailhead. There's a little picnic site, so it's pretty cool. There's a nice cliff that Heather was a little nervous about driving next to on the far side of the lot over there, but we are here to do the hike, so we're gonna throw some hiking shoes on, make sure we have some bear spray, and get to it.
We're about 10 feet from the entrance. You can still see Appa, and there's this precarious staircase.
It's not too bad, it's just steep stairs.
So we have successfully made it down those steps. They weren't too bad. There's a nice little rope to hold on to. You can actually see the falls from the parking lot, so you don't necessarily need to get closer, but I'm very excited to do so.
Oh yeah, and there's the river. The sign said this was a 1.4 kilometer hike, so just maybe about a mile out and back, so a very short hike. So it said allow for an hour. I think that's probably on the long end, but definitely short and not too far into the wilderness.
We must be getting closer to the falls because we can hear them roaring even more. And yeah, I see them. We're catching our first glimpse along the hiking path right through there.
You can feel the mist off of it from here. It's really cool to know that this amazing waterfall, which is one of the biggest that we've seen in a long time, is just off the side of the Alaska Highway. So you drive in about 2 kilometers, you hike about 1 kilometer out, and it's right here. The hike had some steep portions, but I think it's totally doable.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful setting. So this is a really good hike. I'm glad that we were able to do it, and we'll start heading back to Appa now.
Back to the Alaska Highway now.
Bed made your favorite coat, blanket the cold window, watching the falling snow. Take to the street, tear all the mirrors down, shake up the stomping ground, wait for the siren sound, call out to sea.
Master time.
When you wake up, you'll see it all. This time tomorrow we'll be home. Empty suitcase, close the door. We'll run forever, forever on. We'll run forever, forever on.
amount of wildlife that we are seeing on our drive down the Alaska Highway. On the way up, we did see some. I think we did we see a bear on the way up?
I think we did, but not very close. It was off on the side of the road. Actually, it was right in the same area, wasn't it? Yeah, remember, because it was right after the hot spring.
So yeah, it was right in this area last time that we saw the one bear that we saw, and then we did see a moose. But today alone, just in a couple of hours, we've seen
5 bear.
Yeah, 5 bear, 2 packs of bison. We've driven past a couple lone bison just by themselves. 2 lynx. What else? Is that it?
I think that might be it.
Yeah, I'm saying is that it, like it's not a lot, but I'm just absolutely blown away because before we drove the Alaska Highway, I was expecting to see animals like kind of like how we are today, where every half hour or whatever you're getting another sighting. Is that another bison?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we're just seeing so many animals, and it's just so exciting because wildlife spotting is one of my favorite things to do as we're traveling along in our van, and today has been a great day for that. Because we've had such good luck spotting wildlife today, we're gonna try to give it another go and find some sheep. So on our map and list of places, there is a place called Mineral Lick that we are at now, which is a 10 to 15 minute little hike to a scenic overlook where you could possibly see...
You're on the wrong page.
Okay, I was like, where did it go?
Yeah.
Where you could see sheep, goat, caribou, and elk.
We haven't seen a wild caribou or reindeer yet, so that would be really cool. We also haven't seen any sheep or goats while we've been on the Alaska Highway or even in Alaska. So seeing anything like that would be really amazing. And honestly, just seeing wildlife in general is always exciting.
So that's what we're looking for. Stone sheep.
And so it looks like we've got a 1.5 kilometer loop. So we're here at the parking lot and we can walk down to the overlook and then around the rest of the way.
The sign says that the sheep are drawn to this area because of the minerals. So this place is called Mineral Lick because they quite literally like to come here and lick the mineral deposits. So hopefully we'll be able to see some sheep licking the minerals.
More steps. We have made it to the Mineral Lick Overlook, and there's a nice placard here that gives you a little bit more information about the rock flower that makes up the Mineral Lick and why the hooved animals come here to kind of partake in it. Basically, the minerals there are important for them in growing bones, teeth, hair, so they come here and are able to get it in high quantities off of this Mineral Lick.
No luck seeing any sheep, but we didn't see any bear, which was good. We did see a bunch of squirrels that sounded a lot larger than they were, so that kind of gave us a fright here and there, but unsuccessful in seeing sheep for now. So hopefully we'll be able to get lucky because the tourism people said that if you look up in the mountains, you might be able to see them way high up. So if all else fails, we still had an amazing day sightseeing animals along the Alaska Highway.
I don't know about you, I like to tell the truth, but the truth seems to change every Tuesday.
There they are. So those are definitely caribou, aka reindeer, and that is the first ones we've seen in the wild.
It's a wild world, we're all trying to find our place in it. It's a wild world and no one seems to understand it. It's a wild world, but there ain't no way I'm gonna quit it. Love is all I got to give away.
Those are deer.
We have made it to our boondocking spot for the night, which is just outside of our next stop tomorrow along the Alaska Highway that we are very excited for.
Tomorrow morning we will be visiting the Tetsa River Lodge, which is famous for its cinnamon rolls. It'll be our first stop tomorrow before we continue on down the Alaska Highway. We're getting close to the end at this point. I think we've got maybe 6 or 7 hours worth of driving tomorrow, and that should put us back in Dawson Creek. We're going to call it a night tonight. We're gonna just grab the air fryer out and throw in some stuff. I think we still have some pizza pods from the grocery store, so that sounds like a great dinner, and we will check back in with you tomorrow at the lodge and let you know how those cinnamon rolls are. So we have gotten our cinnamon rolls, which was a huge point on our list for coming back down the Alaska Highway. They are nice and warm and we're going to dig in. We got one each, which may have been a little bit ambitious, but I think we're definitely going to be able to get through them. Oh yeah, look at that. So this is supposed to be a super, super great cinnamon roll, and it looks like it is. I think you probably just have to rip and tear. Yeah. That's really good.
These were actually featured on the Food Network. They're that good, and they are huge, like almost the size of my face. We do love a good cinnamon roll, so I have high hopes for this because we've tasted quite a few. We actually tasted some cinnamon rolls on the way up the Alaska Highway at a different location because we were so bummed that we missed out on these that when we saw them at a gas station, we're like, we have to get them. But yes, I'm very excited for this. It's really good. The outside is crispy and the inside is very, very soft and moist. It's almost like it's hardened sugar on top, which is really unique, and all the flavors are just really, really good.
Yeah, like a glazed.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Worth the stop. Now that we are full, we are back on this really bumpy road that was all under construction on our way up, and we are going to end the Alaska Highway today. So really our only goal today is to get to Dawson Creek, which is kind of hard to believe.
So we are keeping the good animal viewing vibes going here today on the Alaska Highway. We actually just saw another black bear off on the side of the road. We were able to slow down a little bit and try and get it on camera. I'm not sure how well it turned out, but not a great shoulder to stop on, so we didn't want to create an unsafe situation. But wow, that was really cool. It was a really big black bear too, maybe one of the bigger ones that we've seen. The world famous Alaska Highway. We're at the end. We're
Not quite.
not quite. We have a few minutes left, but we are coming now into Dawson Creek. I think we've passed into the city limits, so now it's just a little way down the road. I can actually see the barn building up on the left-hand side of the road where the first sort of mile marker is for the Alaska Highway.
Very surreal.
Yeah, definitely bittersweet because we've had such an amazing time on this trip. Alaska was everything that we hoped it would be and more. We saw and did so many amazing things that it's just kind of sad to come to an end of it, even though we still have a bunch of amazing adventures ahead of us.
There it is.
All right, I think that's it then. We have passed the mile marker 0. We are doing the roundabout to be able to get a victory lap, I guess, and then we'll head in and check out the sign. But this was it. That's the end of the Alaska Highway.
We did it. We had successfully driven the Alaska Highway. This highway got us safely to Alaska, and now it has brought us safely back to the starting point where we are going to continue on our 50 states journey. We still have 15 more to go. This has truly been a bucket list trip for us, and we're so excited to see where else Aqua takes us.
Yep.
But until then, we'll see you all in the lower 48.